Hi, Aubrey Lorenz here with TribeChiroMarketing.com, and we are back with part two, getting online reviews for your chiropractic clinic. Part two. If you have not watched part one already, I urge you to go and do so. This may not even make sense unless and until you've watched that. So far in part one, we discussed why online reviews matter at all in your chiropractic marketing plan. I mean, what's the importance of them? We discussed that. We also looked at three important review sites that you want to be set up on if you're not already: Google, Yahoo, and Insider Pages, as we mentioned. And in this particular video, we're going to go through the specific 3 steps that you want to take for getting great reviews. And so the first step is just ask. It sounds simple, it sounds obvious, but if you want to get online reviews for your clinic, just have to ask for them. So be on the lookout for happy patients, okay? Positive feedback. You might get a comment. As a chiropractor, I know that you're very in tune with people and their bodies and their body language, but so it's probably more a matter of just remembering to just use that sensory acuity and be alert to when you get that good vibe, to when you have that good rapport with one of your patients, and particularly when they're getting, good treatment outcomes and they're giving you some sort of cue that, hey, I feel good, this is working, I like you. At that moment in time, you want to just ask them. So you might say something like, well, James, I'm glad to hear that you're feeling better and that you're making progress. Would you mind doing us a quick favor and just writing us a short online review? That's step one. People are going to forget. People have short attention spans. So what we like to do next is step two, physically hand them a review card. This is something that you will put in their hand. I'll talk about how to get these printed and set up and have these on hand in your office so that you can just hand them. But you want to physically give them something that they can take home with them. As they walk out of your office and get in their car, they're going to be carrying this with them. It's going to serve as a reminder and also instructions as to how to actually do this. So 9 out of 10 patients, right, if you're asking the right patient, they're going to say sure, I don't mind, what do I do, or tell me where to go, how do I do it. And what I recommend you do at that point is just say, have you got Gmail, or do you use Gmail or Yahoo Mail? If yes, we're going to have 3 different kinds of review cards. This is what I recommend. It's just one system, it's what we use, it works well. But we're going to have 3 different cards, one with your one that looks like something like this. I mean, you can design your own, but one that's going to give them directions on how to get to your Google listing, one that's going to be for your Yahoo local listing, and one that's going to direct them and have instructions for how to leave a review on your Insider Pages listing. You take this, so you're going to ask them first, do you use Gmail or Yahoo? And they'll say yes. Okay, then give them either the Gmail or the Google or the Yahoo card. Okay, I hope that makes sense. If they say no, let's say I'm a Hotmail user. Well, then just ask them, say, are you on Facebook? Kind of jokingly, most people will be like, well, yeah, duh. Sure, I'm on Facebook. So then just hand them the Insider Pages review card, which I don't have one. I don't have the other 2 cards shown here, but just make them up. And just on this quickly, what I recommend that you do, if you don't have any design skill or don't want to take the time, I recommend just go down to Kinko's or Office Max or Office Depot or whatever you have in your area, or find a local college student, intern, something, and just have them whip this out. It shouldn't take them more than 10 minutes. You don't necessarily have to have a QR code on yours, but have them just make these up, and shouldn't cost you much at all to print them off. Just keep maybe 20 of each on hand. I'm going to talk about this in a minute, but you don't need like huge piles of these around your office. We're not going to be giving them to every single patient that you see through the course of your day. That's not the strategy here. So in terms of expense, your expense for this is going to be very, very low. Maybe you're handing 1 a day out, maybe 2, maybe, one day you hand 3 out, and then, again, we're kind of waiting and looking for that patient who's happy. They're you're getting that sense that they're happy with your services and would want to leave you a review. So you're gonna, let's see here. So hand the appropriate person the appropriate card, if that makes sense. Okay, now having said all this, what's going to happen? They'll say, sure, I'll write a review, and what happens? They walk out your doors and life takes over, right? They forget. They're busy, just like all of us. So what I recommend that you do, and this brings us to step 3, is that same day, ideally, at the end of the day, or at least within the next 24 hours, you want to send them a short email reminder with a one-click link to the listing. Again, it's kind of like a 1-2 punch. You hand them the review card or the flyer, plants the seed, and then the second punch, I guess, if you will, is send them the short email. It's also going to make it even easier, perhaps, than the review card. And it's just going to serve that reminder, a one-click link where they can you're going to send them the appropriate link. They can click it, and as you'll see, I have kind of an example email here, and obviously you can come up with your own, but it might say something like, so in the subject line, you might say something like, "Hi James, a quick reminder," and they'll see that it's from Dr. Your name or your clinic or what have you. And then in the body of the email, you might say something like, "Hi James, Dr. So-and-so here. Hey, it was nice seeing you again, today or recently in the clinic. I hope you're back or whatever is feeling better. Hey, just a quick reminder, if you wouldn't mind leaving us a quick review at the link below, we'd really appreciate it. Thanks, James. Have a great week, or a weekend or what have you." And then just simply copy and paste the URL from one of these 3 listings into the email. Again, if they're a Gmail user, and you'll be able to see this, look at your email database. You should be collecting emails from your patients. If you're not, you want to start doing that. And then just paste in whichever link makes sense to be sending them. Okay, wrapping up, a couple of pointers here quickly. A lot, any business owner that I talk to, expresses some degree of frustration at this. And all I can tell you is, first of all, they don't have this 3-step system here we're talking about. I think you'll find this to work really well. But, all in all, you have to keep in mind this is a numbers game. You're going to ask patients. Some will, some won't. It's a numbers game. Don't worry about it. Just be consistent in your asking. This next point, constant trickle, not tidal wave, that I have written here, this is very, very, very important. 7 out of 10 business owners, at least, chiropractors that I speak to, say, "Oh, well, I'll just blast my list. I'll just email everybody tonight and say, hey, can you go to my Google listing and leave us a review?" The problem with that is twofold. And I actually wrote a blog post on this, which you might like to read on my blog, trickle, not tidal wave, when it comes to reviews. You want a nice consistent trickle of these over time, because getting one big shot, let's say you get 20 or 30 reviews, and then nothing for 6 months, 9 months, 12 months, that looks very weird to Google, right? It looks very suspicious. And a lot of the reviews left like this now are just simply getting filtered out. A lot of these review sites, they want these reviews to happen naturally, right, on the part of consumers. They don't want business owners soliciting them. They don't want you incentivizing them. They're very explicit about this in their terms of service. So you want it to appear naturally to the search engines and to the review sites. Also, it looks weird to users if you get 20 or 30. I've seen this over and over again with businesses, and then there's literally 2 years where they haven't got one review. That looks weird to me as a consumer. Where if I look at your competitor and I see they're getting reviews week after week after week, just one here, one there, couple there, that looks more like a real business to me. Those look like real reviews. So keep in mind, finally, you don't need a ton of these. We're not talking about a huge volume here. I know you're busy, you have a clinic to run, but you only need 1 to 2 reviews a month, maybe a few more than that, but you just need a couple of these to win at this game. Just develop the habit of asking, build this into your systems, make it a habit, and just keep at it. You will see your review numbers grow and climb over time. So finally, if you like, you can visit my blog at www.tribechiromarketing.com for more tips like this, or you can follow me on either Twitter or Facebook if you're on either of those. And that's all for now. I hope this has been helpful, and good luck.